Ball is out over onto the left-hand side. It is Boreham Wood in possession. It's out of play for a throw. Southend United defensive position, and Paul Clark is alongside me for commentary. Looking forward to seeing how Southend match up with Boreham Wood tonight. Yeah,
Boreham Wood, for me, this a real surprise this season. I mean, they had a fantastic start on the top of the table at one stage, weren't they? And then it's a big test for them tonight as well, because they've been through a little bit of a spell. And I thought, oh, that's it. Their period has come and gone, high flying period. Now they're falling away, but they seem to have steadied the ship a bit. Now their season will be dictated by what they do from here. Do they go back to winning ways, or do the wheels come off again?
Ball flicked on over on the left hand side for Austin, who's challenged, and Boreham Wood try and bring the ball under control. It'll bounce around in midfield. Appiah falls and heads it forward, looking for Dallas to control for Southend. He does so. He's central in the pitch on the left hand side. He's looking for Austin again. He's got Boys in support, back inside to Austin, combining in the penalty area. Boys just loses his footing and the ball crashes into a defender, who will then clear upfield for Boreham Wood. Gubbins miscontrols at the first attempt, manages to get things back for his team, and Mason will hit it forward for Southend. Scott Morris is in an advanced position, and Ilasamni just uses his physicality to move the Southend man out of the way. Cav Miley brings down his man Zach Brunt, and that'll be a free kick to Boreham Wood just inside the Southend half.
Yeah, the crowd having a go at the referee because they thought Ilasamni manhandled Gus Scott Morris, but they didn't see Scott Morris have a look and run in, stick his shoulder into the defender's chest first, and then he pushed him out the way. So the referee went, okay, 6 of one half, dozen of the other. And then at the other end, Zach Brunt just getting into that hole, and he's going to be a big threat for them. Talk about people being able to see a pass, he's one of them.
An early opportunity then for Boreham Wood to get the ball into the box. It's Booty with the delivery towards the right hand side, and the referee spots a shove on Gubbins, I think it is. So Southend United with a free kick. And by the way, Cav Miley was booked there, so inside the second minute, Southend United with Cav Miley already on a yellow card.
I mean, that was quick. It's dangerous for Cav Miley as well, because he's the type that likes to make a challenge and sometimes overstretches to make them, so he's just going to have to mind his work.
And so he'll have to be careful now for Southend United. Joining us here on BBC Essex, on FM, DAB and online as well. Gubbins' ball forward is cleared over the top. It's being watched by Goodliff and Taylor. Taylor gets there first. Goodliff clears away. Throw in to Boreham Wood in the Southend United half. They're seeing plenty of the ball in these early stages, still goalless. Throw-in taken into the area. It's towards Rush. He's got his back to goal, right hand side. Looks for support. Marley Marshall Miranda onto Rush. Slipped inside. One more pull back. Good opportunity. Then it's headed over. Well, it was Richardson with the shot for Boreham Wood. I don't know that he got quite the connection he planned on it, but then his own player has maybe directed it away from goal as well.
I think you're doing him a huge honour for calling that a shot. He absolutely shanked it. He swung at it as hard as he could. His foot sort of rolled over the top of it, bounced it into the ground, then his mate come in behind and just lashed it over. It was a real good chance for them.
I'm putting it down as a shot in my book just to make sure I remember it. 4 minutes on the clock then. The fans in good voice around Roots Hall as the ball's chested down by Dallas. He can't control, he's brought to ground by Bush, and the referee has given a free kick the way of Southend this time. Gus Scott Morris, I think, was arguing the case for a yellow card because of Cav Miley's, but he just needs to pick up the ball and take the set piece, and maybe
he needs to shut up is what he needs to do. He's close to number of cautions, isn't he?
Yeah, it's
don't pick up a cheap one, however many you're on.
Well, anyway, Gus Scott Morris is cleared up towards the penalty area, and Harry Boys with his yellow boots is standing over the free kick for Southend United. Going to swing this in with the left foot towards the edge of the area. It's headed down, and then it's off the crossbar. I think Gus Morris got the header down. It was hooked from close range and rattled the crossbar with 5 minutes on the clock for Southend. That will give them something to work with. Boys, right hand side. Can he get the ball in the box? He's got support from Austin. Back to Boys. Southend United advancing on the penalty area. Cross comes in and that's put behind. Is it? No, it's up in the air and Kurd catches for Wood in the goal. And now they can come on the counter-attack down the left-hand side. Abdul Malik up against Keenan Appiah Thorson. Southend United need to get back in their numbers. Still going is Abdul Malik. Gets a cross in, is over the head of Rush, but there is a man on the right-hand side. Cox with the shot. Away by Gubbins, hooked back in by Cox. Gubbins clears long this time. Whoa, what a phase of play that was for both sides, and it's still not over yet as the ball is forward from Booty. That will be over Abdul Malik and out for a Southend United goal kick. Paul Clark.
I can't be sure, but I think it might have been Charlie Kendall came in on it. Just don't know why he hit it that hard. I mean, it came out to him and it looked like an open goal, and he's absolutely hammered it smack into the crossbar and gave nobody any chance of any rebounds, but might be doing him a disservice. I don't know.
My initial reaction was it was Andy Dallas, but I have got the pillar right in front of me in our commentary box.
That's always my excuse. We'll go with that one.
But it was certainly a good opportunity for Southend United from a set piece to get themselves ahead. Still Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 0 here on BBC Essex. Goodliff heads out of defence, back forward from Booty. Taylor does well to marshal Matt Rush, and then it's hooked out of defence for Boreham Wood for a Southend United throw in their visitors' half. Scott Morris goes short to Appiah Thorson, turns and runs towards the edge of the area for Dallas. Dallas edge of the area, shoots straight into the arms of Kurd.
By the way, after that attempt for Southend, really good chance for Boreham Wood, and great race by Abdul Malik against Appiah Thorson, and unfortunately the Boreham Wood player got the better of him.
Austin to Dallas, Southend United, 25 yards out. Appiah Thorson goes square to Scott Morris. He's got two players around him. He goes to ground, and Boreham Wood clear the ball upfield, looking for the run of Rush. It's overhit, and Mason should be able to come to the edge of his area and collect. It's been a lively start here, still inside the 10 minutes, first 10 minutes here at Roots Hall. We've had chances at either end.
Yeah, Scott Morris trying to win the free kick there and goes down like he's been shot. Then the ball went 30 yards up the other end. He thought, I better get back up again. He's all right, thankfully. Has got a slight light strapping around his knee, I think.
Yeah, he's been playing with that tape on his right knee, I think it is, as he passes the ball backwards. Mason.
Strike.
It's a huge clearance long, which Bush is watching and heads clear. Austin does well to keep the ball under control at the second attempt. Then Gubbins' long ball over the top. It's over the head of Boys. Will Kendall be able to use his pace to get there? He has managed to keep the ball in play on the byline. He takes it over to the left-hand corner. Can he get round his man? He's being held off, so he's got support from Austin. Now he's going back to Gubbins. Flicked on by Scott Morris, trying to turn it round the corner for Southend United, but Boreham Wood are alert to it and bring the ball down the left-hand side through Abdul Malik. Oh, Harry Taylor does really well there to wait and time the challenge well for Southend United. He's gone back to Mason, who was under some pressure from Rush, but clears the ball long. It bounces awkwardly. Charlie Kendall can't get connection at the first time of asking. Southend win it back through Miley, and then Dallas is just muscled off the ball by Ilisamni. Boreham Wood have it in their possession, still 0-0.
It's a threat down this left-hand side, isn't it? Abdul Malik for them. He's got plenty of pace, and but just before that, for Southend, again, there was that ball we were talking about. Joe Gubbins liked to play, and it's half nice when you got someone like Charlie Kendall, because he was second favourite for that ball all the time, but just made it his through sheer determination. Made what was an average ball from Joe Gubbins into a good one. That's not.
Abdul Malik came through the ranks at Millwall and played at youth level for England. Has 9 goals for Boreham Wood in the National League this season. They have possession at the back through their captain Bush. This is a real mix of young upcoming talent that Luke Garrard has put together, and some real experience in the Football League, as Taylor goes back to Mason, who skies and skews his clearance. That's out of play for a Boreham Wood throw well inside the Southend United half.
Yeah, a bit of a bobbly ball rolled back to him, wasn't it? He was under a bit of pressure, Harry Taylor, so couldn't give him the ideal ball. So we might have had time to have a touch, but listen, he's hit Cairo with it. Shouldn't be too many problems from there. Now just defend the throw, which looks like it's going to be a long one.
And it is Bush who has the long throw for Boreham Wood, and his teammates are ready for it to be launched into the box. Instead, he goes short. Of course he does when we've built it up like that. To Booty. Booty floats the ball into the area towards the back post, headed away by Boys, out onto the right-hand side. Boreham Wood in possession, rolled into the area. That's nice play, and then the goal fired in from the right-hand side. Boreham Wood take the lead in the 12th minute here at Roots Hall. It was neat play from a throw-in. No one was picking up the right-hand side of the area, and Abdul Malik opens the scoring for Boreham Wood. It's Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1.
I tell you what, it went off a well-worked goal, because a ball into the centre forward, and it's just a little ball round the corner, and defenders watching the ball, and Abdul Malik made the run in behind. Boy, did he finish it. I take back what I said about whoever it was, Charlie Kendall at the other end, for hitting it too hard and hitting the crossbar. Didn't hit it anywhere near as hard as that. It was a terrific finish from him.
It careered into the roof of the net, and we have our opening goal in the 12th minute of this match, this National League match here at Roots Hall. Southend United will need to come from behind to get something out of this game against the side who started the evening in 4th. Goodliff goes long. There's two pale blue shirts there to get in front of it, and now Boreham Wood can go on the attack again through Rush in a wide position down the left-hand side. He tries to play it square, and it's just taken away from Brunt, who was rushing into the area. Keenan Appiah-Forson fouled on the edge of the area, and that'll be a Southend United free kick.
Joe Gubbins did really well coming across there, defending as last man. Again, they broke down. Matt Rush put the ball across the edge of the penalty area, probably penalty spot area, on rushing a teammate. There was a big space, and Joe Gubbins came across and made a very important challenge.
It's the only goal of the evening so far in the National League fixtures. We've got 6 going on this evening, and then there's another lot tomorrow night, including Braintree, who are at home against Aldershot. Here at Roots Hall, it's Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1, as Mason takes his free kick out towards the left-hand side, and Boys has pushed his man in the back. So referee Craig Hicks says that will be a free kick to Boreham Wood, this time in their own defensive area.
Owen Mason and Kevin just having a little bit of disagreement about the quality of the ball that he knocked up there. I'm not quite sure what Kevin's giving him stick for. Hit it into a channel, and unfortunately the defenders won it. I don't think he can be blamed for that.
So Kevin Mayer's urging his players to push and press high as Boreham Wood play a long ball over the top, looking again for the run of Matt Rush. Cleared away at the first attempt, then it's picked up again at the second, but Southend United should deal with this defensively. Gubbins goes back to Mason, who will have another chance to hit it long. He's looking for Charlie Kendall. Kendall up against O'Connell. It'll fall nicely for Austin. Austin, edge of the area, is out for Dallas, but it's overhit from Austin, and it's out for a throw-in.
Yeah, the problem Blues have got, and that you can understand Kevin saying he wants them to go and close down, but the forwards are going to close down, but they're not getting there quick enough, which allows the defender to get his head up, and they go, well, if you're not going to let us play short, we'll go in behind. And they've got plenty of pace to go in behind, so Blues are pushing up. It's just leaving big spaces in behind, and Boreham Wood are quite content to exploit that and just put balls in behind. And with Abdul Malik, certainly they've got enough pace here, and Matt Rush even against Ben Goodliff. Well, I know my money would be on.
Southend have the ball. They trail by a goal to nil, but there's a Boreham Wood player who's gone down with a head injury, and so the referee's going to stop play. Elsewhere, Forest Green Rovers 0, Boston United 1. Forest Green drawing 1-1 at the weekend with Boreham Wood, stopping a run of 3 defeats in the National League, but they find themselves a goal down in the early stages of that one, as to Southend United here at Roots Hall. It's Victoria Polly and Paul Clark with you on BBC Essex, as I think that's Richardson over on the far side for Boreham Wood is back up on his feet, and we can get back underway with a drop ball.
And while that was going on, Owen Mason ran 50 yards to come up to Kevin and say, well, where do you want me to put it then? What do you want me to do? So nice that they got that sorted out between the pair of them.
And can Southend United get themselves sorted with getting themselves a goal back? Remember, they hit the crossbar inside the first few minutes of this one. Andrew Dallas from close range after a free kick had been floated into the area for Southend United. Ball headed forward for Blues. Boys brings it under control on the halfway line. We'll go back to Goodliff, who's talked about having made his senior debut at Boreham Wood. You can hear that interview on BBC Sounds. He has the ball at his feet. He's going long, looking for Dallas. Flicks on to Kendall, to Austin. Now Kendall using his pace. Gus Scott Morris is in acres of space in the penalty area. Can Kendall find him? He fires a ball into the box, cleared away by the first defender. Back forward from Gubbins, looking for Dallas. Bush gets there ahead of him, and then Boys puts the ball out for a throw-in. Boreham Wood have it in their own half.
Gus Scott Morris got frustrated. Ben Goodliff had the ball, and Gus is in acres of space out this side, and he come out wide, and he wanted him to go into Harry Taylor so that Harry Taylor could hit him out here, but Abdul Malik cute enough to go, well, I'll go and put pressure on Harry Taylor. Then Ben Goodliff's got nowhere to go with it, and they can't come out this way. And good work off the ball by the forward.
Booty goes back to his keeper Curd, as Rochdale take the lead at Halifax and York take the lead at Scunthorpe. We've played 17 minutes here. Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 0, and it's the visitors who have the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. Through the keeper Curd, goes long. It's flicked off the head of Harry Taylor, who was fouled in the air by Matt Rush. Referee says free kick Southend.
You get the impression there with the keeper and the two centre halves for Boreham Wood. Keeper rolls it to the centre half and he just puts his foot on it and looks at Southend and says, well, you're going to come and close me down? And then if they do, he just rolls it back to the keeper, who then tries to go and exploit the space in behind. I think they fancy themselves against this Southend back three ostensibly, because they're trying to play a front three. Abdul Malik, Richardson and Rush as the three up there, and they kind of go, well, we know Gus Scott Morris will push on, so we'll go 3 against 3 and see how you cope with that, because we've got enough pace to hurt you in behind.
Well, Southend's free kick has been wasted. Miley forward towards Dallas, but it's out of play for a Boreham Wood throw, and it's down the line from Ilisamni, headed away by Goodliff. Dallas coming across to try and collect, loses out. Another throw in to Boreham Wood. Inside for Abdul Malik, who will go backwards towards Cox. Inside to Abdul Malik in the centre circle. Now Booty, son of Martin, out onto the right hand side for Brunt. Low ball rolled towards the edge of the area, picked up by Miley. And can Harry Boys clear it away? Or go back to Gubbins to clear long. It's not the best, but it will find Austin, who goes back to Taylor. There was a run from Keenan Apai Fawson which wasn't seen, but Southend United have it through Scott Morris. Rolls it in. He's looking for the run of Dallas, who's just continued without the ball. And so now there's a chance of Rush, who was offside, and therefore it won't go down as any kind of scare, but that's just how quickly Boreham Wood can change things. Yeah, again, it was great play from midfield, and there's that run, and it was Rush, and he just pulled off the back of Ben Goodliff, and as I say, they're obviously looking to exploit that. Southend want to push up, then Rush and Abdul Malik and Richardson just want to play on their shoulders, and they're quite happy to go, well, go on and put it in that space behind them, because we'll beat them there all day long. Mason upfield for Southend, who trail by 1-0, headed away by Cox. Back forward from Miley, inside from Boys towards Dallas. Southend United just losing these battles in midfield at the moment. Gubbins puts an important foot in at the back for Southend, and yet the visitors can rebuild from the back through Bush onto Ilisamni. the left back for Boreham Wood. Goes back to his captain Bush, who has a look up, floats it forward to Ilisamni, who's continued his run down the left hand side, inside towards Rush, who takes a heavy touch and puts it out of play for a Southend goal kick. Yeah,
it's poor from Apaya Fulson, because Ilisamni just looked at his mate, got the ball at his feet, 10 yards in his own half, just got on his bike and just ran into the space, and Apaya Fulson just went to sleep for a moment. By that stage he's got 5 yards on him, and then he can never catch him up again. Thankfully it was a heavy touch from Matt Rush when it was played into him in the penalty area.
And you can see why he's had the success he has, Matt Rush, with Boreham Wood this season. 15 goals, 17 in all competitions.
I think it came too early for him here, you know.
Yeah.
And he came into
and at a difficult time for the club as well.
He came in at a bad time for him personally, because he didn't feel like yet he was ready for it, I don't think. Obviously knows where the goal is, scored enough goals to prove that in youth football and reserve team football, such as it is. But now he's grown into it, and I think he thinks, yeah, I deserve to be here now. And guess what? The goals haven't changed. They're still in the same place and they're still the same size. So if he starts playing with confidence, as he has been, then yeah, he's going to be a goal threat. Let's go ball in behind again,
which is cleared away by Gus Scott Morris. Boreham Wood leading by a goal to nil. That 12th minute goal. Cav Miley has managed to get in front of Brunt there to divert the ball towards his goalkeeper Mason. He has to be careful now, Cav Miley, booked in the 2nd minute of this game. Mason floats it up towards Dallas.
It's important that he won that one as well. He shouldn't be able to bring that on his chest and turn there in midfield, trying to win the ball in front of him. He takes it on his chest, so they try to nip round in front of him and take it off his chest. He's got it tight enough under control, he just turns out with it, and suddenly the Southend players are the wrong side.
Booty has a look to his left where Ilisamni has made a run. There's a miss kick from Booty, but
pretend you meant it, go on.
He's just casually passed it back to his captain Bush.
Best dummy of the night, that one.
Again, he's got time on the ball. He goes forward looking for Abdul Malik, controls inside but only into the path of Gus Scott Morris. Picked up then by the Southend defence. Miley out to Keenan Apaya Thorson. Can Southend United gain some ground? Apaya Thorson has to go backwards towards Goodliff, and then Gubbins onto Boys. Southend United in possession, trailing by a goal to nil. Listening on BBC Essex and online as the ball is out for a Southend throw in their own half. Tamworth a goal to the good against Altrincham. Only game yet to have a goal is Wealdstone against Brackley. Wealdstone parting company with Sam Cox earlier in the week. Southend have gone back to their keeper Mason.
That's a giveaway.
Put the ball out onto this, left hand side for Ilisamni to pick up for Boreham Wood. They aren't having the success that Boreham Wood are having when they're putting these balls in behind.
Haven't got the same sort of pace, have they? And Boreham Woods are sitting that little bit deeper, so there's not the big holes in to go. You see now Southend pushing right up onto the halfway line. Boreham Wood go lovely. Don't half leave us a big area to hit and go behind.
Well, they won't do it on that occasion because the ball has been put out of play by Cox, who missed control. So Southend United do have a throw in the Boreham Wood half.
So they've got a nice balance, Boreham Wood, as well, because if Southend don't do that and they start stepping back, you open up big spaces for someone like Zach Brunt to start picking up balls and hurting you with his passing there as Blues break on this right hand side.
Apaya Thorson has got Scott Morris out to his right. That's where he sends the ball. First time ball in, it's too near the keeper, who gets down to his left and saves.
Yeah, as you say, try to side foot it across the 6-yard box. I think it was Charlie Kendall again running in there, but just sort of slid off the side of his foot a little bit. That should be a foul. I mean, that's...
Well, the referee let one go over there a couple of minutes ago when Harry Boys was down on the ground. He just gave the throw in to Southend, so I guess he's evened it up there, even though the boot of the Boreham Wood player has come off. Richardson, I think it is protesting to the referee.
He knows it. I think the referee knows he made a mistake because he's allowed the time to put his boot back on. He said, "Oh, we're not taking the throw yet. Get your boot." You don't have to do that. If you want to take it, take it.
Which Southend do. Short from Boys to Gubbins, back to Harry Boys. Scored in the previous game here against Morecambe and then had a big part to play with the ball across goal on Saturday, which led to the own goal. Southend's second of 3 in their win at Brackley. Mason goes over the top. Will Kendall be able to use his pace to get there? He doesn't ahead of Bush, and then it's cleared by Booty. Appeals for handball from the Southend United fans. Goodliff gets in front of Abdul Malik to clear the ball back to Owen Mason. Still Southend United trail by a goal to nil. Less than 20 to go until half time. Goodliff with the floated ball long. He's looking for the run of Kendall. It's going to be through to Curd, who was at the edge of his area waiting.
Yeah, but the one before, Kendall standing still, watching Ben Goodliff, and said, right, put the ball in, and then he went after the ball a bit. He's got to be going before the ball is played. So he gets across the defender, and it gives Ben Goodliff a target, and he can see the runner. He goes, right, I'll put that in front of you, and he'll know how far to put it in, because whether Kendall's got away from the defender in the first place.
Brunt has got space to chest this and volley it forward for Richardson, right hand side of the area, tries to bring it round Gubbins, and then the ball is cleared away by Goodliff, I think it is, for Southend United, who's caught late. And it's a free kick for Southend United as Newcastle get a second in their Champions League playoff. It's Newcastle 2, Qarabag 0.
Again, it's that ball over the top, and you see there exactly what I was talking about earlier. Blues defenders had dropped off a little bit, and there was acres of space for Zach Brunt to come off and pick up. I was kind of surprised when they had the first touch that he turned and tried to play the ball first time. I don't think he quite realised how much room he had, because he had 15 yards of space in front of him that if he'd got it down, he could have run at people and given a better pass. Referee just having a word with Richardson, I think. Just caught Ben Goodliff as they went in there. I don't think it was quite as bad as Ben made out.
And Richardson, former Burnley youngster, that's where he joined from in the summer. He actually became Burnley's youngest debutant in the Premier League against Spurs at the age of 18, as Southend United lose the ball over on the right, and Harry Boyes is penalised in winning it back. Boreham would have taken the free kick quickly to Rush over on the right hand side for Richardson. He's got 2 Southend defenders around him. He manages to squirm through them, edge of the area shot blocked by Miley, and that will fall kindly for Kendall. Can he launch a counter attack? Over to Dallas. Dallas skips out of one challenge. He has 3 Boreham Wood players come across him, and he loses out. Now Richardson tries to bring the ball forward. He's brought down. There's a free kick to Boreham Wood, and the Roots Hall fans are frustrated.
Yeah, they think the referee seems to be favouring Boreham Wood a little. I just think that they're getting closer, getting around people in numbers. Southend are doing it all as individuals at the moment, and when you go in as an individual, if you do anything wrong, it stands out. It's a glaring foul. Going in numbers, it's hard for a referee to pick anything out.
And Southend fans making themselves heard as this set piece is being prepared for Boreham Wood. They've gone backwards with it. O'Connell goes back onto the right for Cox, onto Booty, down the channel. Gubbins in a foot race with Matt Rush. Matt Rush trying to get around the Southend man. He does so. Can he pull it back? Comes off a Southend defender out for a corner.
Yeah, they're just losing all individual battles all over the park, both the physical and technical at the minute, Southend players. So every time there's a 50-50 ball, it seems that a Boreham Wood player is coming out with it.
Free kick over on the right hand side then.
Boy, that's a crowded 6-yard box, isn't it? Look.
For Boreham Wood, there's players 1, 2, 3, basically 4. In the goal.
There's only 5 players outside the 6-yard box. Wonder where this ball's going.
And they've all cleared out in the final few moments before this ball is delivered by Cox, who has a false start as it's Cox who's gone to try and receive it short, but the ball will come into the near post, headed away at the first defender, which is Gus Scott Morris for Southend, and it will trail out for a Boreham Wood throw.
Yes, sack the free kick, coach. Dead ball specialist. We've never heard such a thing.
Ball taken down the right hand side for Richardson, back to Brunt. Brunt trying to deliver the cross in, comes off a Southend United head, and that'll be out for another corner. Will Booty get a better delivery on it this time for Boreham Wood, who lead by a goal to nil?
What do you think, this is what we meant to do? What they do is put everybody in the 6-yard box and suck the Southend players back there, and then when they come out, now all of a sudden they're looking around going, who's marking who? Then they'll all just flood back in again. And it only takes one to get away, or even just little blocks. Here they go again. 4 of them on the goal line.
Well, Booty's also got Abdul Malik in, offering short. They've gone to the near post and it hits the side netting from Cox, who was making the run in.
Yeah, he came late. But because everybody was dropped into the 6-yard box, it was a lot of space for him to run into. I think he got across the front of Gus Scott Morris there and got the first touch on it. Was never on target, was never troubling Owen Mason in the slightest.
Half an hour gone. Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1 on BBC Essex Sport. Elsewhere in the National League, it's now Scunthorpe United 0, York City 2. As the ball from the Southend United goal kick is headed back with interest by Boreham Wood. It's pinging around over on the far side, headed on by Rush, and then there's a moment of hesitation from Ben Goodliff before he hooks it out of play for a Boreham Wood throw in line with the penalty area.
He was trying to get everything both times there, Ben, wasn't he? I think he was trying to get a little bit of home back for the one that caught him a bit earlier on. 2 challenges there. He was playing the ball, but he was making sure if anybody came around him, he was getting them as well. He's going to come up for this long throw again.
Well, yeah, this time it's Cameron Cox with the ball in hand, but Bush and O'Connell have gone into the area, the centre-backs for Boreham Wood, and they're going to load up the box as this is launched in. And the former Colchester and Solihull man, Cox, he goes looking for Bush. It's missed by Mason, is it? There's a whole host of players splayed on the floor in the penalty area, but it's bounced behind and out for a Southend United goal kick. Yeah,
I think Richardson coming in at the near post, try and get that first touch, or that second touch rather. Skipper just running underneath it, just giving it the eyebrows, flicking it on, and from then on it's chaos. It's just forwards trying to get across defenders, and you just got to pin them.
Since Southend United hit the crossbar in the 5th minute, we haven't seen much action at all to our right hand side, and the goal that Blues are attacking. They come away with it here through Dallas, but his ball forward has curd clearing for Boreham Wood. Now Southend United in defence through Taylor onto Dallas, who's dropped deep to collect, holding the ball up for the home side, who trail by a 1-0. Back to Gubbins. Now Goodliff. Southend United have this in their own half, and then they were so close, that ball to Gus Scott Morris crossfield, almost intercepted by Abdul Malik. Now Harry Taylor and Gus Scott Morris playing maybe a slightly dangerous game down this near side as Ilasamni comes across to head out of play. Southend United have a throw in the Boreham Wood half.
Yeah, talking about good passes and bad passes, there was 3 passes there from Southend, all 10 yards, and every one of them a bad pass, because it made the teammate go back and get it and face the wrong way and be put under pressure. Thankfully they got themselves out of it though.
Throw in short to Dallas. Pie force and over the top, but Dallas is on the floor and Bush clears away. Booty goes back to his keeper. I think Andy Dallas is saying to the referee, come on, I went to ground there, but referee is happy to let some of those challenges go and the game flow, it seems, as Boreham Wood have it at the back.
Well, they've been playing half hour now. They know what the referee's like, so just be stronger then. And if you end up giving fouls away, all right, don't worry about that. But if the referee's going to let them go, get on with it. Add that to the game instead of chucking yourself to the ground or going to ground every time. Be physically stronger.
Boston United have doubled their lead at the new lawn. It's Forest Green Rovers 0, Boston United 2. As again, there's protests from the crowd as the ball goes back to Ted Curd, the Chelsea loanee.
Yeah, it's ball's gone over the top of Charlie Kendall, and the defender just stands behind him and pins him there, so he can't spin round and go for the second ball. But the lad's not holding him, and I think Charlie Kendall's just got to be strong and go, right, I'll spin away, drop my shoulder in, push him off me, and then get away.
Abdul Malik out onto the right hand side for Cox, upping the tempo for Boreham Wood, has a look up, delivers an early ball, and it's a bouncing in the penalty area and behind for a goal kick, but Matt Rush was making his way in.
That was a tremendous ball if there'd been anybody in there. Thankfully for Blues there wasn't, and it was an easy one to defend because you just had to make sure nobody gets a touch on it, just let it go out for the goal kick. It's one of those balls you put in at that pace. If there's somebody there and it hits them on the head, it's a great ball, but if it's not, it doesn't give anybody a second chance to run onto it because it's just got too much pace.
Wealdstone 1, Brackley 0. So we've had goals in all the National League games this evening. The scoreline here: Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1. Mason with the goal kick. It's headed away by the Boreham Wood defence. Will ricochet out onto the right-hand side for Boreham Wood and come off one of the visiting players last. So Southend United have a throw, which Gubbins takes quickly towards Dallas. Dallas trying to flick it around the defender. Instead it hits him, and will come back into possession for the away side, who just so neatly drilled in getting this ball forward. But coming across for Southend United is Ben Goodliff. Then Taylor feigns one way, goes the other to clear the ball upfield for Kendall. Kendall just crowded out again by Boreham Wood players. Yeah, you're exactly right. Two things there. One, they played those couple of balls at the back and they knew Matt Rush was going to be on that run. Fortunately for Blues, the pass was 5 yards too short, so Ben Goodliff wins the header. But then when Boreham Wood do lose it, 3 or 4 players hunting the ball down as well. They're playing it out from the back arc, Boreham Wood. We have less than 9 minutes to go until half time, as Dallas, I think more out of frustration than anything else, just pulls down his defender, and Boreham Wood have a free kick at the back, which Bush plays out to the left hand side for Ilisamni. Chips it down the line looking for Rush, who's come deep, but finds Miley instead in a Southend shirt. Now Taylor back to Mason. Mason's clearance is long, but it's out of play for a Boreham Wood throw.
There's an awful lot of frustration out there, and they're finger pointing and all looking at each other. Just need to get themselves organised.
Boreham Wood have taken their time over this throw, which has gone short to Booty. He'll go back to Bush. He clears upfield, away by Goodliff, and then that time, is there a free kick? Yes, this time Dallas is fouled, says the referee, by Booty, midway point of the Boreham Wood half, and referee has given the free kick.
It's a fairly obvious one, that one, wasn't it? And listen, the referee delayed a little bit because I think he was looking to see where the ball went, but then when he realised that Southend weren't getting the advantage, he blew up for it.
They did think about taking it quickly, but they have set this up. Remember, this is a similar position to the free kick that Southend United had in the 5th minute, delivered by Boys, headed down and then hit against the crossbar by Andy Dallas. That's the only real opportunity Southend United have had in this first half. Can they do something similar from this set piece? It is Boys standing over it once again for Blues. He'll swing it in left-footed. Everyone but Harry Taylor forward. Boys towards the far post. It's Goodliff, headed down and wide. Good opportunity for Southend. They look most dangerous from those set pieces. This time Ben Goodliff can't find his header on target. Yeah,
he was having to climb over the top of the defender and literally was trying to climb over him. He had his arms in his back, but didn't look like the referee was going to give him anything. But it was put into a really good area, just the sort of area that Ben Goodliff likes to go and attack, and he very nearly got on the end of it.
Boreham Wood go short with their goal kick, and then Kurd goes long. Goodliff gives Miley the call to come and put the header in. Boys looking for Dallas. Dallas, it will fall for Kendall. Requires to get it quickly on for Boys. Boys, edge of the area, goes down. That's a good position for a free kick. I think Harry Boys is saying, I think that was in the area, but the referee has given the free kick outside where the foul was first initiated. And again, another opportunity, and a good opportunity for Southend United in a dangerous position with a set piece.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Boys was claiming that it was in the area. Certainly he fell into the area, but I think contact was definitely outside, or he was berating the referee and demanding a caution. I don't know why they want everybody cautioned. But it's certainly a good area, and they'll do well to get Gus Scott Morris off the ball, and he'll do well to hit the target, because he's had a few of these of late and hasn't really tested the goalkeeper. Get a little bit disappointed from him, because he normally tests the goalkeeper. Certainly when a moving ball's come at him, he very rarely misses.
I've seen him hit some wonderful set pieces. Southend could do with him having some luck like that now. It's Gus Scott Morris and Harry Boyes over it for Southend United. It's just a couple of yards shy of the penalty area over on the left hand side. It will be Gus Scott Morris running over it, and then Boyes delivers. It goes wide. The keeper was to his near post, and he just watched that one behind from Harry Boyes.
Yeah, hard one to get that. The goalkeeper's got his wall up right. It's going to be hard to get that round there, and to be honest, goalkeeper didn't look troubled at all, did he? I think he knew once it had gone round the wall it wasn't coming anywhere near his near post.
Well, Forest Green Rovers now 3-0 down at home to Boston United. Really struggling at the moment on Robbie Savage's side. As Boreham Wood have the ball in their own half with less than 5 minutes now of the first half to go. And it's still the visitors who lead by that 12th minute goal as they go back to their keeper, Kurd. In comes the Southend United front line to try and put some pressure on, or almost from Austin, sticking out a leg on the edge of the penalty area, but it's squeezed through for Boreham Wood down the right hand side from Cox to Richardson. Richardson, right hand side of the penalty area. He's got support from Brunt. Brunt runs into Goodliff, has to track back and back heels it towards Richardson, but Boyes is there for Southend United, but he's been tucked into a corner and does well to clear long, but it's just going to be recycled by Boreham Wood. Ilasamni, midway point of the Southend United half, to Booty in a central position. It's a rather casual pass from Booty, but Ilasamni will get there ahead of Miley as Boreham Wood go back and Southend United clear out and try and come and press. Andy Dallas giving Cameron Cox some company. That's good from Southend. Gubbins stepping out of defence to win the ball back. Slipped on one more from Dallas. Kendall with the chance. Good save from Kurd with the legs. It looked like all your money that Kendall was going to score that after the ball was well picked up by Southend. Kurd coming out of his area and saving with his legs. Still in possession though for Southend United, who trail by a 0-0. Boyes trying to deliver the cross, blocked away. Will he have another chance? He's got the ball under control. He's pushed to ground. Referee says that will be a free kick. And Southend United with another opportunity to deliver the ball. Good attempt and good chance for Charlie Kendall, Paul.
It was a great chance, and it was good play from Blues in the first place, because that's the first time they've really closed down the receiver when Boreham would have tried to play out from the back. They haven't closed down the men on the ball quick enough, so they had plenty of time to pick out a free man. That time they closed them down, but then the second man in behind was closing down as well. And it's hard to blame Charlie Kendall there. His goalkeeper did well. The only thing he'd say was a good height for him, but he came out and got, I think it was his knee or his hand on it.
Harry Boyes delivery with a free kick from the left hand side. This time it's towards the back post where Ben Goodliff was trying to make his way in, but it's overhit, and there's a tip back of the head from Harry Boyes in frustration.
Yeah, two from the other side. He's put into great areas. That one he's just overhit it, unfortunately. Is that runner again?
It's Ilasamni looking for Matt Rush. Goodliff will go back to Mason, and this time it's Boreham Wood trying to press high. Taylor inside looking for Miley. It's a loose ball which Booty can pick up, and now it's hit over to the right hand side. And he's very, very lucky that Lewis Richardson didn't control that.
He takes that on his chest, it takes it past him, and he's beaten. It's a lovely weighted ball, but he did well in the end, Joe Gubbins.
Boreham Wood coming forward again from Marley Marshall Miranda. We are just over a minute from finding out how long we've got added on at the end of this first half. It's in Southend United with a couple of good efforts towards the later stages, but it's still Boreham Wood who have that 0-0 advantage and are looking threatening through Abdul Malik, who's just turning and twisting in the Southend half up against Apaya Forson. Now the ball's rolled along the ground to Brunt, over onto the right hand side now for Cox. He'll go back to O'Connell. Boreham Wood holding on to possession. Remember that Southend United opportunity created for Kendall was from Southend closing down the Boreham Wood defence. Keenan Apaya Forson wins the ball back for Southend in his own half. He's trying to take the ball round the Boreham Wood man, Abdul Malik, and then he's won himself a throw-in just in front of the away dugout.
Wasn't a lot of space for him to go down, was there? Everywhere he looked, there was light blue shirts all around him, and the space in front of him was getting smaller and smaller. Kevin getting frustrated. He wants everybody to push up and do things that little bit quicker.
We are seeing 1 minute of additional time added on at the end of this first half as the ball is out for a Boreham Wood throw now in their own area. But yeah, I hadn't seen Kevin Mayer in a little while, Paul. He disappeared into the dugout below us, and then, as you say, suddenly out he comes, urging his team to get forward, wanting to see his centre halves pushing forward when that throw-in was Southend United's. There's a huge amount of shouting coming from both dugouts, and already the clock is ticked over halfway of the minute. As that throw-in was being taken, there was all sorts of balls being thrown around as Booty hits the ball out of play. Will Southend United have one last chance to get the ball forward in this first half? Scott Morris has it on the halfway line for a throw-in. Referee has a look at his watch. It's down the channel looking for Kendall. There's a player on the floor for Southend as Kendall is just marshalled off the ball. Referee will blow the half-time whistle here at Roots Hall. A frustrating first half for Southend United, who did hit the crossbar early on inside 5 minutes from a free kick. Andy Dallas rattling the woodwork for Southend United, but Boreham Wood taking the lead in the 12th minute. A neat play from the visitors resulting in Abdul Malik firing into the roof of the net. And despite a couple of good chances later on in this first half, it has been the visitors who have been on top, Paul Clark.
Yeah, very much so. It dominated possession, and funnily enough, doing exactly what we spoke about before the game. They've mixed the game up, they're prepared to pass it around at the back, and yet they want to go in behind as well. But Southend had a great chance. You've had the first real good chance, and again, not entirely sure who hit it. If we got it wrong, I apologise, but whoever it was smashed it against the crossbar when I don't think it needed smashing. And then they've done the same at the other end. Lovely little touch from the centre forward in the penalty area, put Abdul Malik in, and his finish was real quality. But apart from that, they've had an awful lot of times where they've got in behind and got into really good areas, but Mason hasn't made many saves, has he? And then because of that, Southend's are still in the game. Great chance with Kendall going through. I prefer to give the goalkeeper credit there, because yeah, he could have slipped it under him, maybe tried to lift it over him, and not entirely sure, but it was a good height for the goalkeeper when he came out, and you give him credit for making a good save. But apart from that, Southend they've sort of fallen a little bit twixt and between. They're not closing down enough up top to put the centre halves under pressure, and when they do, they're not closing down in midfield enough to stop them from playing out, and when they do, they're pushed up so far that there's big holes in behind for Boreham Wood just to give themselves an out ball. And Abdul Malik and particularly Rush, willing runners for every time that ball's put in behind, it gives them that out ball. So that's why they've dominated the possession. They've won all the physical battles as well, which will be the disappointing thing, just those individual battles. But only 1-0, Southend can put that right. Hope for a much better second half.
Yeah, work still to do then for Southend United, but not down and out yet here at Roots Hall. We'll have second half commentary on the way, but at half time here at Roots Hall, it is Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1.
BBC Essex,
the home of Essex Sport.
Cuts inside, right-footed, and the substitute has done it with a glorious finish.
Throughout the football season, BBC Essex brings you commentary of every Colchester and Southend game.
Across to Scott Morris on his right foot. What a goal from Scott Morris!
And now you can get all the latest news, insight and analysis on BBC Sounds. Search Colchester United or Southend United and click subscribe.
The home of Essex Sport.
BBC Essex.
The home of Essex Sport.
BBC Essex.
26 minutes to 9 on BBC Essex Sport. Tom Larson-Wright with you. So at the break, Southend United trailing by 1-0 to Boreham Wood. That goal on 12 minutes by Abdul Malik, smashing it in from close range to the right of goal after being played in behind. Southend, as you heard from Victoria, did have the first big chance of the game. Andy Dallas hitting the crossbar from close range after Harry Boyes' free kick found its way through to Dallas. He couldn't make the most of that one. And then it was really the away side, Boreham Wood, who had most of the possession, as Paul Clark was saying. Didn't create too much with it, but certainly on top. And then towards the end of that first half, Blues coming on strong again, and Charlie Kendall having a one-on-one effort saved by the Boreham Wood goalkeeper. So at the break, Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1. Blues fans, if you're listening along, love to hear what you made of that first half. To text us 81333 or WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your texts and your WhatsApps with the word Essex. If you're listening to us on BBC Essex and you're stuck in the traffic on the M25, we'll keep you across what's going on there. 2 lanes currently closed between junction 28 for Brentwood and junction 27 for Harlow. That's for emergency barrier and road surface repairs after an earlier accident there. So still 2 of the 4 lanes closed on the M25 anti-clockwise between Brentwood and Harlow. We'll let you know once that road is all back open, but at the moment still those 2 lanes closed there, so do allow for that if you're travelling that way. This evening, full commentary to come in the second half then of Blues against Boreham Wood on BBC Essex on all frequencies, DAB, and on the BBC Sport website and app. Let's take you through the scores elsewhere in the National League. At the break, it's Forest Green Rovers 0, Boston United 3, so that's looking like a shock on the cards. 6th place Forest Green home to Boston, but trailing by 3-0 at the break. Halifax Town 0, Rochdale 1, so that one currently going to form the league leaders, leading away at Halifax. And Scunthorpe United, who start the day in 5th place against York City, who start the evening in 2nd. That's currently Scunthorpe 0, York City 2 at the break. Tamworth 1, Altrincham 0, and Wealdstone 1, Brackley Town 0. 6 games in the National League tomorrow, including Braintree Town against Aldershot Town. That's the latest scores from elsewhere in the National League. Taking you through the scores in the Champions League. Earlier on, it finished Atletico Madrid 4, Club Brugge 1. That puts Atletico Madrid 7-4 on aggregate to the last 16. In there, all of the other 3 games are, of course, 8 o'clock kickoffs, so they've got around about 5 to 10 minutes left of the first half. It's currently Bayer Leverkusen 0, Olympiacos 0, with Leverkusen leading 2-0 on aggregate. Inter Milan 0, Bodo Glimt 0. That one is currently Bodo Glimt leading 3-1 on aggregate. And then Newcastle United 2, Karabag 0. 38 minutes played, 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes, one from Sandro Tonali and one from Joe Linton, means Newcastle lead 8-1 on aggregates, so they will be no doubt progressing to the last 16. In the Scottish Premiership, half-time, Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0. Then looking to the Championship at the break, Blackburn Rovers 1, Bristol City 2, Hull City 2, Derby County 2. I think that's the first goal since joining on loan at Derby for the former Colchester midfielder Sammy Smodics. He's on the score sheet for Derby tonight. Middlesbrough 1, Leicester City 1, Swansea City 0, Preston 1, Watford 0, Ipswich 1, West Brom 1, Charlton 0, Wrexham 2, Portsmouth 0, and Southampton 1, QPR 0. That's the one 8 o'clock kickoff from the Championship. The others are all 7:45, so they're at half time. In League One, Bradford City 1, Rotherham United 0. 0-0 between Burton Albion and Stockport County. Northampton Town 0, Port Vale 1. That gets you up to date with the scores in League One. Couple games in League Two as well. Currently, Accrington Stanley 0, Barnet 0, and Salford City 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. So that's all the scores nationally, as well as those few games in the Champions League. So you're all up to date at half-time tonight. So let's drop down a few more divisions, shall we? It's one thing to be the worst team in your league, but another thing to be named nationally as the worst team. The best worst team was the title given to Worley FC from Brentwood by Specsavers. The team was adopted as part of a YouTube series aimed at turning their fortunes around. Well, last night, BBC Essex's Ian Puckey caught up with some of the team on BBC Essex Sport Extra. Manager Luke Armstrong told Ian about his journey with the team.
So, there was multiple things going wrong with the team. It started in 2018. I adopted it in about 2022, 23. When I took over, a lot of the players were aging, having kids, typical Sunday League story. All decided they want to hang up their boots. I think we had about 10 players leave at the end of one season. So I had to change it over and then change to a new team. And it's fair to say, as Specsavers will probably point out, it didn't go very well in the first season for me. It was a lot of very difficult Sundays and a lot of bad team talks.
Rafe, let's turn to you. What was it like trying to be part of this team and turning in, week out and thinking, this is just not going to happen?
My first game was actually quite peculiar because it was our first win. So I was like, oh my God, we're actually going to win games. And then week after week, it's it's starting to go downhill.
At some point, you're going to find out that there's a new boss going to walk into the dressing room. The boss that walks in is Big Meeks, Mika Richards. What was that moment like?
Well, honestly, even to this day, when I think about it, it's such a surreal experience. It's we're all just waiting in the changing room. It's cold, it's a Sunday morning, it's been raining. And we're just waiting, thinking, who could it be? Then when you see Big Meeks just walk there, it's am I in a dream? Am I still asleep? It's just such a crazy experience.
Okay, we better turn to you at this point, Luke. What was it like working alongside him?
So it was a very odd thing to be standing next to what is an ex-Premier League winner and an FA Cup winner. He did some quick fixes for us, which I think was talking about the technical side of the game. It was just a crazy experience to be able to share a sideline with somebody that is of that knowledge and experience of the game.
Alex, the Mika Richards, the Big Meeks that you see on camera, that you see on Match of the Day, is that the Mika Richards that you get on the touchline?
Yeah, you do. The energy he has and the energy he gives the team when he's on the sideline is just amazing.
Having someone like Big Meeks, big energy, big encouragement, it's what more can I ask for?
Dude, the other thing that I thought of when I looked at this was, you got cameras in your face a lot of the time. Do you kind of forget they're there after a while?
It is definitely a shock at first, but once you're over it and you're just on the pitch, you do just forget that the cameras are there completely.
Luke, did you at first worry about everything you were saying?
Yeah, a lot of it, I guess, is probably expletives because, that's probably the first thing you've got to worry about on camera. But no, a lot of it is the first couple of interviews, I was horrendous. The good thing about the guys that we worked with from the marketing perspective, a lot of them very quickly put you at ease and say, stop overthinking it because you're actually making yourself worse. What you see is what you get with all of the episodes. The label of best worst team in England does also come with probably a bit of a connotation that when you're the manager of it isn't very good.
No. Has it started to make a difference?
Definitely overall the positive nature that is brought along, the sort of time and investment that Specsavers have put in have massively improved. Also, people want to be a part of our club that probably never even noticed we were a club before.
Has Mika Richards pulled on his boots at any stage and turned out alongside you guys?
I think that's a wait and find out moment, yes.
All right, because I know I've seen an article that says you go and face a side managed by Angry Ginge.
Yes, that is the wait and see moment. So the result-wise was probably one of the biggest shocks, and Angry Ginge did not like it at all. It was representing the South, shall we say. So yes, that's the big episode that I think Specsavers, everyone should tune in and watch.
It's almost like a new normal that we have with just kind of, celebrity help and dietitians helping out just a little Sunday League team from Brentwood.
Being able to see an ex-Premier League footballer is just crazy, and for him to coach me, I know I'm going to get better, and it's just... yeah, it's like waking up in a fever dream, to be honest.
I think with the pressure that Specsavers has put on us, it just showed how a little bit of pressure on a team can change it a lot. Because from the beginning to now, the team has improved massively.
That was Luke, Alex, Raf and Jude from Brentwood's Worley FC, who were given the title Best Worst Team on that YouTube series, which you can watch if you so wish. Hoping to change the fortunes around with some help from the former England and Premier League winner Micah Richards, the defender, of course, now well known as a pundit for his positive attitude and his brilliant laugh. Bring you a few scores locally before we head back to Roots Hall for commentary of Southend against Boreham Wood. In the Isthmian Premier, it's Cheshunt 0, Aveley 0, and Wingate and Finchley 1, Canvey Island 0. Then in the Isthmian North Division at the break, Concord Rangers 2, Brantham Athletic 1, and Maldon Tiptree 0, Stanway Rovers 0. In the other Essex derby in the Isthmian North at the break, Takeley 1, Brightlingsea Regent 0. It's 9:15.
BBC Essex Sport.
Well, Southend United looking to get their first win over a top 6 side in the National League. They trail, though, to Boreham Wood at half-time.
Headed down, and then he's off the crossbar. I think Gus Morris got the header down. It was hooked from close range and rattled the crossbar with 5 minutes on the clock for Southend. That will give them something to work with. Boreham Wood in possession, rolled into the area. That's nice play, and then the goal fired in from the right-hand side. Boreham Wood take the lead in the 12th minute here at Roots Hall. It was neat play from a throw-in. No one was picking up the right-hand side of the area, and Abdul Malik opens the scoring for Boreham Wood. It's Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1. Slipped on one more from Dallas. Kendall with a chance. Good save from Kurd with the legs. It looked like all your money that Kendall was going to score that after the ball was well picked up by Southend. Kurd coming out of his area and saving with his legs. Still in possession though for Southend United, who trail by a 0-0.
So Andy Dallas and Charlie Kendall coming closest for the Blues, but they've got some work to do in this second half. Time to rejoin your commentary team at Roots Hall, Victoria Polly and Paul Clark for commentary of Southend United against Boreham Wood on BBC Essex, all frequencies, DAB and the BBC Sport website and app. It's 14 minutes to 9.
Tom Larson writes.
BBC Essex Sport.
Perfect timing, thank you very much, Tom. Welcome back to Roots Hall. Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1 is the half-time score. A 12th minute goal from Abdul Malik giving the visitors the lead, and Southend United, who had a couple of good opportunities in that first half, are preparing a double change. The first of that one is James Morton entering the fray in place of Cav Miley, and Jack Bridge is the other player down on the touchline, ready to be introduced by Southend United. And he is coming on to replace number 5. Well, didn't quite get any of that, but Jack Bridge is on anyway. Is it Joe Gubbins? Joe Gubbins, number 15. There we go. Paul Clark, former Southend United player and manager, back alongside us for second half commentary. Southend to kick us off, and here on BBC Essex the hosts will be attacking from right to left as we look on in the commentary box. Paul, your thoughts on those changes that Southend United have made? Confirmation that it's Bridge on for Gubbins, and James Morton on for Miley.
Put almost like a back four really, but I imagine that Boys will make up that left-sided centre half. Don't see him getting forward much from there. There's a ball played over the top, which is just too long for Sam Austin making a run. Left a big hole for Boreham Wood to play it out from there as it gets closed down in midfield by Kapaya Folson.
Austin picks it up. Bridge, left-hand side of the area, puts the ball in, headed away. Just couldn't find Dallas. Back onto Bridge though. Can he have an immediate impact for Southend United? Down the left-hand side towards Boys. Richardson gets the challenge in. It's just too near his player as Goodliff hits it back down the channel. Out of play by Cox. Southend United with a throw down the left, and the fans who are still making their way back to the seats will see Southend United and all the action to left-hand side as we look towards the Frank Walton stand in the BBC Essex commentary position. Or James Morton has just left the ball behind. He's helped out by Taylor. Back to Morton over on the right for Southend. The cross is cleared away. It was Kendall trying to put the ball into the box for Southend, but kind of want him to be getting in there as well. So Southend have almost sold Mason short, but he does really well to come out his area and get there ahead of Matt Rush. And this time it's lost by Austin. Marshall Miranda uses his strength to get there ahead of the Southend United midfielder. Oh, Rush is in here. Rush, edge of the area. Good save with the legs of Mason. He'll have to get back quickly because it will bounce to Abdul Malik. Back onto Rush, left-hand side of the area, seeing plenty of action already. Keenan Apai-Forson doing really well to take it off the toes of Rush. And now Southend United can break, but Kendall just runs out of puff and runs into Marshall Miranda. Lively opening couple of minutes of this second half as the ball is played down towards Ilasamni, who can keep the ball in play over on the far side of the penalty area. He's looking for support. He finds it through Abdul Malik, trying to squeeze it through to Rush. Southend come away with it through Morton, and then it's lost as Apai-Forson is trying to bring it out of defence. This time it's long from Harry Taylor towards Dallas. Southend United do really well to find Kendall in a deep position, crossing the halfway line with it. Apai-Forson wants it. It will go to Dallas though. Dallas skips out of a challenge midway point of the Boreham Wood half, bringing it forward, driving it out to the left hand side for Bridge. Bridge has got boys on the overlap. Still Bridge on the ball. He's taking it back and around, and Boys has continued his run into the area, but Bridge still has it. He's battling for possession with Richardson, and he wins himself the throw.
Yeah, it looks like Blues trying to play it back for Gus Scott Morris, and Boys trying to take care of Richardson and Abdul Malik. Caused so many problems in that first half.
Boys trying to deliver the cross, blocked away for another throw,
and it will hopefully negate some of the threat from that area, but just looks a little bit vulnerable to me right down the centre.
Well, Boys has the ball in hand for this throw. He is taking it towards Austin, back to Boys, square on the edge of the area to Dallas. Boys into Austin again, left hand side. Dallas is in a wide position. He's going to try and bring it round. He's going to have to go back to Morton in support.
Must just say, Victoria, what a good save from Mason there.
Did really well, didn't he?
Did really well. It's easily the equal of Curd at the other end.
Yeah, very similar, and prevented a second for Boreham Wood as Goodliff has the ball. He's in a central position, rolls it along towards Dallas, back to goal though, can't get the ball from out under his feet, and Boreham Wood will try and bring it away. Morton was back covering the defence for Southend. Forward they come again, urged on by the Roots Tall crowd. Out to the left for Austin. He's got Boys on the overlap. Austin on the edge of the area, back to Morton. Back out to Boys. All this happening down the left-hand side of the penalty area for Southend United. Bridge onto Austin, edge of the area. His shot was crowded out by two players. Then Bridge goes to ground. Boreham Wood on the counter now. The side who lead by a 0-0 through Brunt. Brunt having a look up at his options. Booty's racing into the area. Rushes on the right-hand side. Puts the ball across the box. Mishit by Cox. Follow-up from Malik. Abdul Malik is taken off his feet by Keenan Apai-Forson, who was back covering for Southend United. Gus Scott Morris hits it forward, and it will be recycled by Boreham Wood, but this feels very open now with 50 minutes on the clock. Still Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1.
Great work from Apai-Forson there. So diligent in his work to get back and cover. Look, when that ball went across the... Surprised Matt Rush didn't get first touches when it got there, but having missed it and gone to the back post, so important that Apai-Forson, as I say, was diligent about his work. Very open at both ends at the moment. I don't understand Sam Austin, by the way, on that last attack. He's got a ball, he's got Jack Bridge standing in the box with a defender up his back, and he turns away from it.
Trying to come across and put some pressure on Cox, manages to do so. It's out for a goal kick, but we've seen Southend United with some energy and intensity early on in this second half.
Yeah, so he's got that little pass, can go into feet and go and look for the 1-2, or the defender can't touch Jack Bridge because he's in the box, and he puts his foot in it, comes back and goes out to Jack Bridge, out to Harry Boys out wide again. I'm thinking, just play the little ball into the forward like they did for their goal and get runners going off of him. Far more positive pass.
By the way, I didn't run you through the sides, and again at the second half as Southend concede a free kick in the Boreham Wood half, which is taken quickly out onto the left-hand side, but it was all unchanged for Boreham Wood as they were in the first half, as Southend win it back over on the far side through Kendall. Shouts of handball against Ilisamni, which the referee has a look at and is happy for play to continue. It's rolled along to Brunt, inside for Richardson. Boys can get there ahead of him and try and bring the ball away. He's done really well there, has Boys. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. He just slips and loses his footing. Harry Boys was trying to get himself into space to clear the ball long. In the end, he's conceded a corner.
I think he's come off the post of the corner flag and got out for a throw as it happens, but aside from that, the Messi got himself in getting out. What a great bit of defending in the first place, because it was a lovely ball supposed to be played inside the full-back by Zach Brunt, and Harry Boys was diligent about his work, went back there and staved off what was a very dangerous situation.
It is going to be a throw for Boreham Wood, so just that side of the corner flag, which Cox throws into the box, headed up in the air by Goodliff, on by Bush for Boreham Wood, still not away from Southend. It'll fall to Brunt, rolls it into the area. He's found O'Connell in space, looking from an acute angle to fire that into the corner of the net, and he's blazed it over.
Yeah, looking for the same sort of finish that Abdulmalik got in the first half, but a sublime little pass from Zach Brunt, wasn't it, to put him in there. Picked it up on the edge of the box and just got the radar switched on, had a look for who's in the best position and slipped a lovely little ball. He'd be disappointed he didn't at least test Owen Mason with that one.
So Southend United a goal down to Boreham Wood here. We've had chances at both ends in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. Ball up to Dallas, who chests down, and then Bridge going for the ball in contest with his player who's stayed down. He's now got two defenders around him as Jack Bridge. He's squeezed through them though. He's still got Bush for company, who's just going to pull him down on the left hand side of the area. That will be a free kick for Southend United, and I expect Chris Bush, the Boreham Wood captain, will also get a yellow card for that. There was frustration from Boreham Wood because they felt that Jack Bridge had caught Cameron Cox, who's stayed down late, but through came Jack Bridge, working his way down the left-hand side, and he's fouled by Bush.
And Jack felt the contest. He knocked the ball probably a little bit too far and was leaning into the defender leaning over back. I mean, because Jack's that little bit smaller, he then goes to ground and wins himself the free kick, and the lad gets the rightful booking. Nice seeing Jack being nice and positive on that side instead of checking, just taking the defender on.
We saw Southend United have a couple of good opportunities from free kicks in the first half. Andy Dallas hit the crossbar, Ben Goodliff with a header as well. Jack Bridge, this time it's more of a crossing position from just sort of an almost a better corner from the left hand side. It is Bridge who's standing over it. He's going to deliver it right footed, flicked on, it's going to fall for Sam Austin. Great save
straight
over the bar from Kurd, who gets high fives and hugs from his players because it was from close range from Sam Austin, but tipped over by Kurd. Southend United corner.
Yeah, just snatched, well, not snatched at the chance, just a snapshot. Unfortunately, it's almost straight at the goalkeeper. Quick reactions to tip it over the crossbar, mine.
The referee just wants to have a word in the area, I assume about some pushing and shoving, but Southend United knocking on the door here. The latest effort from Sam Austin, and this will be the resulting corner from Southend United. Right hand side, Harry Boys to deliver for Blues, who trail by 1-0. Ben Goodliff still tussling at the back post as Boys puts the ball in. It's towards Goodliff, who can't get any real purchase on the header, and it's behind for a goal kick.
He's claiming that he was pushed, and it was about with him and Ilisemni.
I think he was doing just as much pushing,
exactly
wasn't he?
Right. That's the very point I was about to make. Two balls on the pitch at the moment, so the referee just delaying things.
Well, Ben Goodliff has the captain's armband on for Southend United after Cav Miley was substituted at half-time. He was booked inside 2 minutes, was the midfielder. It's Morton who was on to replace him, to Bridge. Southend United building on the left-hand side. Dallas goes short to Boys. Boys along the ground to Bridge for him to run at Cox. Goes one way, goes the other. Square to Austin. Austin gets the ball past one defender. Oh, it's swerving. It was so close to either nestling in that far corner or Andy Dallas getting his head on it to divert it past Ted Curd. In the end, it's behind for a goal kick, but another good opportunity for Southend United. We've had 57 minutes. It's Southend 0, Boreham Wood 1.
Yeah, and again, I'll just refer you back to what I said at the start of the game. See how Southend create these chances. Great. It's not even tested the goalkeeper. So disappointing because they've worked extremely hard to get into those positions, done really, really well, but counts for nothing in the end. A bit like their fella at the other end, just lashing it over.
It's now Tamworth 1, Altrincham 1 elsewhere in the National League, as Matt Rush has fouled his man, Harry Taylor, over there, and that will be a free kick to Southend United, who have had that change of shape at half-time, and they'll go back to Mason with the free kick. Now Taylor trying to use some pace, and he's almost run himself into trouble because Rush was still lurking. He hasn't got the cover of the third central defender now, has Taylor. He goes long with it, looking for Kendall, headed away and out for a throw.
You do wonder whether it's going to inhibit Gus Scott-Morris as well down that right hand side. Now he's got far more defensive duties to do with Abdul Malik keeping an eye on him, because he was a thorn in Southend's side in that first half.
It's Scott Morris on the ball. He's playing it over onto this far side for Harry Boys, who was in an advanced position way ahead of where Scott Morris was sending that ball, and as such it will be a Boreham Wood throw in the Southend United half. Cox will go short with it to Booty, chests it round a Pie Forson towards the edge of the area where Rush is back to goal. That ball is intercepted by Morton, only as far though as Marshall Miranda. On to Ilasamni, and now out to Abdul Malik. Is there a chance for him to run at Gus Scott-Morris? Yes, he's going to try and take him on, twisting and turning. Gus Scott-Morris has missed the challenge. Into the area as Abdul Malik rolls it along the penalty area. No one there. Follow-up shot comes in from the edge of the area from Cox. Picked up by Marley Marshall Miranda, as there's another substitute being prepared down in front of us. And Boreham Wood go back to their defence. Well, we see that first battle then between Abdul Malik and Gus Scott-Morris.
No contest, was it? Turned him inside out. Oh, it's over the top of your son.
That's going to bounce, and it won't be in reach of Matt Rush for him to get on the end of it. And Southend United are preparing a double change.
Hopper and Golding. Golding for Austin, I would imagine, yeah.
So off comes Sam Austin, and James Golding comes into action for Southend. We saw a first glimpse of him very late on at Brackley, having rejoined Southend United on loan from Oxford. He'll go into defence, and the second change, Tom Hopper, is going to come on for Charlie Kendall.
Right, so what Blue's doing, so I think Golding's going in, possibly in at left back, and then Boys is coming out wide on this left hand side, and Bridge is going to go and play behind Hopper and Dallas, I think.
Well, we'll keep an eye. We'll get Paul Clark to keep his eye across how that changes things for Southend United, who have now brought on 4 substitutes. Dallas on to Boys. Now to Bridge, left hand side of the penalty area. Bridge, square to Dallas. Dallas looks for his options, has to go back to Morton. Morton to Golding. Golding's first involvement in the action towards Dallas, but Golding is getting forward for Southend United to Hopper, plays a 1-2. Golding into the area, trying to take it round the defender, who did really well to hold his ground. I think that's O'Connell there at the back for Boreham Wood. Golding in a very advanced position, and we did see him score goals when he was here on loan with Southend last season.
They're exactly what I was talking about earlier, playing the ball into the centre forward's feet, in and around the edge of the box, and going for the 1-2. Very nearly created something for Blues. I think they've reverted back to the 3 centre halves and pushed Gus Scott-Morris and Boys wider as the wing backs.
Well, those changes taking place just after the hour mark. Southend United still trailing by a 1-0. But again, we've seen plenty of opportunities so far in this second half for them to try and get back in it. And bar that one really good save from Owen Mason early on, Paul, I feel like we've largely been looking to our left.
Yeah, but I just think Blues were vulnerable. There was big spaces for Boreham Wood to run in behind, and Zach Brunt was starting to pick passes out, and then we say Abdul Malik getting one against Scott Morris. No disrespect to Gus Scott Morris, Abdul Malik will skin better players than him, but it negates what Gus Scott Morris is good at. If he just goes back and defends the guy, you're not getting the best out of him, and you're taking away a big threat. You see him now, as soon as Blues have gone to his 3 centre halves, Gus Scott Morris is pushed 15 yards further up the park, just in the hope of going to attack the other end.
Oh, Jack Bridge had 3 Boreham Wood shirts around him, and somehow he's got out of the challenge. Now forward comes Dallas, and Marley Marshall-Miranda, in the process of making the challenge, has handballed it very clearly. A referee waves play on, and then it's going to bounce out of play for a Boreham Wood throw. Kevin Mayer and Darren Curry protesting at the referee.
Referee made a sign that he'd taken it with his chest. There's no way did he take that with his chest. Definitely handballed it.
Well, the resulting throw-in is out of play down this near side for a Southend United throw now. And Luke Garrard and his coaching team screaming at the Boreham Wood players, who are adjusting to Southend United, having made a further 2 changes. Boys down the line looking for Hopper. It will find Dallas though. Dallas has his heels clipped at. Referee says that will be a free kick, this time for Southend United. Again in a fairly promising position, or at least a chance for Southend to get this in the box.
Do you think we can refer to him as goal of game, Tom Hopper, at the moment?
We can. 2 in 2.
Is it too early?
2 in 2,
nice
yes. It's great to see, having scored in the playoff eliminators, Tom Hopper, he has had a tough time of it this season, and you could see the relief in him scoring in that game here against Morecambe, and then getting the opening goal, having come on as a substitute at Brackley as well. Can he make it 3 in 3? Southend United need a goal. This free kick's gone out to the left towards Bridge. Bridge, a chance to run at the defence. Richardson makes a vital interception, blocks it out for a corner, and I think Boreham Wood are going to make their first change of the evening. They lead by a 1-0.
Disappointed. I mean, you've got the second prize of a corner, but disappointing not to see anything created from that last free kick.
Bridge to deliver the corner towards a penalty spot. It's kneed away by Bush. Bridge is going to come and collect it. He's got Boys in support now. Boys has come out to this left-hand side to support Bridge. Bridge past 1 defender, past 2 towards Boys. Can't find himself any space though, and will Brunt be able to bring it away? There's a good sliding challenge from Morton, and Boys keeps the ball in play for Southend United. On the charge again, left-hand side. Bridge cuts the ball back. He was looking for Dallas, and there was a Boreham Wood player in the way. Southend United continuing to try and create down this left-hand side. Again, another good and well-timed sliding challenge from James Morton. And the Roots Hall crowd like that from their Southend United side.
That's the minimum ask, isn't it? But you've got to give Boreham Wood credit, and they've done well to play themselves out of that, because they was in a real tight spot, and they've managed to go all the way back to the goalkeeper and out the other way, and then pick out Zach Brunt.
Brunt was in so much space there. He had time to watch the ball bounce, but Golding from the resulting ball picks out for Southend. Driving forward is Jack Bridge, early ball into the box, put behind by O'Connell. Another Southend United corner.
Yeah, not the best from Jack there. He got in a good position, and he just needed to, he had loads of time, just needed to wait for the forwards to get across the defenders, but just hit it too early and hit it straight at the defender. But great run in the first place.
Southend United getting forward. Bridge with the corner. It's cleared away once as far as the edge of the area for Boys. Back out to Bridge. Bridge to deliver the cross again towards Goodliff this time. Was it Hopper? I think it was Hopper the target. And then Boys has gone back to Mason. Oh, it almost looked as if he'd sold him short there. But he does get there and plays the ball out wide to Appiah Forson. But Southend United have been pegged back, and Brunt nicks it off Appiah Forson onto the edge of the area for Rush. Rush takes it to a central position. He's getting support in numbers now. Booty back out wide on the right to Brunt, delivers the ball in. Golding has to put it behind for a corner, and it's this time Southend United under pressure at the back.
Yeah, Appiah Forson just took far too long to make up his mind what he was going to do. Substitution coming for Boreham Wood. Ayinde for Richardson.
So Leon Ayinde comes on loan from Ipswich. Started out in Irish football with Cork and has joined on loan from the Championship club. We'll get back underway with the corner from the right for Boreham Wood. Played 67.5 minutes. Southend 0, Boreham Wood 1. They've gone short to Brunt. Booty's continued his run. The cross is deflected on the way in, and then it's headed out by Hopper, helped on by Morton. Hooked back down the right-hand side by Brunt, but Abdul Malik is held off the ball by Gus Scott-Morris, out for a throw-in to Southend United.
They don't mind it going out for a throw in there, because now they'll just pin Southend in that corner in the hope of winning it back, and 3 touches later 2-0. That's what they'll be expecting.
Wealdstone have doubled their lead over Brackley. It's Wealdstone 2, Brackley 0, as Ayinde gets the ball into the box, headed away by Goodliff. Ilisamni will pick it up for Boreham Wood. Tamworth 2-1 up against Altrincham elsewhere in the National League. Here Southend United trail Boreham Wood by a 0-0. Boreham Wood coming into this one had only won 1 of their last 7. But you don't get into 4th position without being a good, well-drilled side, as Boreham Wood go back to their keeper Kurd. He goes down the line, and that should bounce out of play for a Southend throw.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed to see Richardson go off, because I thought he'd cause some problems down this right-hand side, and he certainly occupied whoever was up against him. But then
he was again on a yellow, wasn't he?
Yeah, but then I've just seen Ayinde.
Tom Hopper felt he was brought down by Chris Bush. Referee had a look at it, waves play on, as Brunt deftly plays it through to Booty. The ball onto Rush into the area, right-hand side, pulls it back into the feet of Harry Taylor, who will bring this away for Southend. They're still finding those spaces, are Boreham Wood. The ball over the top for the run of Dallas is headed down by O'Connell.
Thankfully they can't get enough bodies in the box to be able to pick up. They keep getting somebody in behind and looking up as again they go in, ball over the top. This time it should go through to the goalkeeper. But yeah, every time they've got to the byline, looked up, just haven't got enough bodies coming into the box, thankfully for Blues.
7,332 in attendance today, 120 who have travelled from Boreham Wood, and I know the traffic has been a nightmare, particularly around the M25 today, so probably not the easiest of journeys, as the ball is chipped out from Morton to Scott Morris, right hand side, making ground on the penalty area. Jack Bridges switched over to join him. Scott Morris into the area, looking for Boys, heads it up in the air, can't get enough power on it, but he puts a foot in to find Morton with the shot, and it was swerving, and it was always swerving wide.
Yeah, but nice to see him win the second ball around the edge of the box, and haven't got a problem with anybody taking a shot on from there.
Can Southend United find themselves a goal? There's 20 minutes to do so.
It's been much more even half this half, hasn't it?
It has.
It's flowed end to end. It's entertaining football. It will never catch on.
Abdul Malik's 12th minute goal is what separates these two sides. Southend United have had their opportunities, particularly in this second half. Can they get themselves past Ted Kurd? Harry Boys nodding on. He'll find Walker. Walker just miscontrols. Or I don't know if he was trying to turn it around the corner thinking Dallas was behind him. Either way, Marley Marshall Miranda threads it through to Rush. Rush trying to unleash a shot. Ben Goodliff comes across to get the challenge. Referee points for a goal kick. And Well, I don't think I would have been surprised if the referee had pointed to the spot, Paul Clark.
No, listen, he got away from Ben Goodliff, and Ben fell to the ground, and an arm came out with it. Not entirely sure he did catch him. I think Rush might have been going to the ground anyway. But difficult one. As I say, I wouldn't have been surprised either way there.
Tom Hopper has been bundled to the ground up the other end by O'Connell, off the ball as well. The referee has spotted it and has given the free kick to Southend United. I didn't see the start of that, I just saw them both on the floor. Referee, or at least the fourth official, had a good view of it. Harry Boyes has a set piece to deliver for Southend, which they've taken quickly to Appiah Forson on the edge of the area to Gus Scott Morris. Scott Morris, ball into the box towards Hopper. Hopper diving, looking for the header, cleared away by Boreham Wood out onto the right hand side for Abdul Malik to try and launch an attack, but he's going to go backwards as they wait for Boreham Wood shirts to get themselves forward. It's back to Bush in the penalty area, and now spreading it wide to Cox. Cox has space to run. Still the visitors who lead by a 1-0. Southend United having gone closest in this second half, will certainly have had their fair share of possession around the penalty area, but we've seen what danger Boreham Wood can create. Ilissamni on the overlap, puts the cross in, diving header away by Golding. Booty with the shot, blocked away again by Golding, who's playing an important part for Southend United at the back. Cox to Brunt, right hand side for Boreham Wood, back to Marley Marshall Miranda. Now to Booty. Booty just putting it behind Ayinde. Ayinde trying to get it on to Rush, just can't control it, and Mason can collect for Southend United, still trailing by 1-0.
They've got a lot of invention up front, haven't they? Great movement off the ball, and players that are good enough to pick out that movement as well. So thankfully they haven't got quite enough to finish it off at the moment, and long may that continue. This kid looks bright as well, by the way.
Yeah, it's Ayinde, the Ipswich loanees, fouled Boys on that occasion, but he's making his presence felt. Scunthorpe United now 3-0 down against York, and Tamworth have got a third. They are 3-1 up against Altrincham elsewhere in the Lastral League. Remember, Braintree Town are at home to an improving Aldershot side tomorrow at Cressing Road. Southend United go back to Mason. Mason's ball forward straight to Booty, who controls, and Southend will now have to go back to Mason to launch it long again. It sticks in the air. Appiah Forson competing for it. Brunt does well with the outstretched leg to find Abdul Malik, but he might have hurt himself in the process, as Abdul Malik's ball is into the feet of Taylor. Again, Taylor will track him over on that left hand side. Ilissamni now onto Brunt. Brunt is, I'm not sure how he's moving after that stretch, but Abdul Malik trying to get to the byline, pulls it back for Rush. Easy goal.
Brilliant.
All Rush had to do was tap it in, as Abdul Malik did the hard work down the left hand side, pulled it back, and for all the possession and all the opportunities in front of goal at the other end for Southend United, with just over 15 minutes to go, they find themselves 2 down. It's Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 2.
Well, in fairness to them, they've got themselves into those wide positions and get to the byline so many times. I said earlier that they've never got enough bodies into the box. That time, Abdul Malik, can't see, I think it might have been Gus Scott Morris, he turned him inside out again, got to the byline. Matt Rush just stood on the edge of the 6-yard box and he picked him out, and it was the easiest finish he'll ever get. But Abdul Malik again, absolute wizard down that left hand side. He's skillful, but he's got pace as well, and so drops his shoulder and gets away from you, and there ain't no getting back at him. Absolutely brilliant from him.
Well, Matt Rush on his return to Roots Hall, we never quite saw the best of him here at Southend United. He never got to show his best during the times he was here at Southend United, but he's got his 16th of the season in the National League.
He never got that chance when he was playing here with that team that was here at the moment, unfortunately. Very few times did he get a ball in the box, and that's what he is, he's a box player.
Well, it's an uphill struggle now for Southend United, who have 14 minutes to not now just find 1 goal, but they need to find 2. And Boreham Wood have a throw in front of the home dugout, which Cameron Cox takes his time over. It's headed up in the air and out of play from Golding. That'll be another throw, this time further into the Southend United half. And that's the 120 Boreham Wood fans you can probably hear who are cheering, having seen their side double their lead. Cox takes the throw down the channel, won by Boys, cleared away by Golding. Dallas can't get there, and it's out of play for a Boreham Wood throw in their own half. They've taken it back to their keeper, and they'll build from the back wheel. The side who started the night 4th in the National League.
Offside.
Indy was in an offside position as he came across to collect that ball. Southend United will have it back.
Yeah, it's a bit naive there. He's running flat across the box. Ben Goodliff certainly doesn't want to get in a foot race with him, so just stood up and went, go on, then you've already got offside. If he plays it to you, I haven't got to chase you from here. So it was good defending, and as I say, just a bit of a naive run, but just got to be careful that he doesn't check back in and then go again the second time. Zach Brunt's clever enough just to hold on to it for that little split second longer.
The Forest Green Rovers have a goal back, but they still trail 3-1 against Boston. Hopper comes to collect, plays it on one more, but he won't find a Southend United shirt as Matt Rush is controlling. Eventually Southend United defence deal with it, but it's nodded back by Marshall Miranda to Ayinde. Good foot in from Golding for Southend United to Bridge down the left hand side. Was he just tugged there by Cox? Yes he was, says the referee. Free kick to Southend.
It's again, he was just getting away and remonstrating with the referee again, wanting the yellow card. So I think he just got away from Cox and clipped round the ankles, just brought him down.
Golding bringing the ball forward from that free kick because Southend United decided to go back to their defence with it. Onto Dallas in a deep position inside the Boreham Wood half on the edge of the centre circle, looking for options. Onto Taylor. Now Gus Scott Morris wide on the right, chance to run. Early ball into the box. He was looking for Hopper, who was on the edge of the area. Cleared away only as far as Scott Morris, who wins the throw over on the far side. Remember, Halifax are trailing by a goal to nil against Rochdale. So as things stand, Southend United still in 7th, but we'll bring you the full-time details and the table in the final part of BBC Essex Sport. We're on air until 10:30. It's Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 2, and we are entering the final 10 minutes. Chipped over the top from Gus Scott Morris. No one there for Southend. There's a diving header from Cox to turn it back to his goalkeeper, Curd.
I was saying earlier about how Southend have, over recent weeks, have looked to go behind a few times and not been given the opportunity really in this game, because Boreham would have defended particularly well, particularly deeply. They've defended well, but just watching Boreham Wood, you watch the number of times it goes back to a defender and Matt Rush just gets on his bike because he knows where that ball is going to go even before the defender has got it. So when the defender plays it long, gives Matt Rush a chance, and all the other forwards for Boreham would do it. If you watch Southend, it just takes that little bit longer because it's not ingrained in them as yet.
Ball is bouncing around. Indy was in an offside position, so he wasn't able to go for that one. Goodliff controls, and Dallas is trying to turn it past a defender, just can't control it. And Bush plays it on to Rush, who again was back to goal, gave James Golding time to intercept. Bridge gets past his player but trips, or he's tripped I should say. Advantage play, Dallas out to Boys. Boys has Bridge on the overlap, decides to put the cross in early, looking for Hopper. Headed inside from Morton towards Dallas on the edge of the area, just loses control. Morton to collect though for Southend United.
Must be said he's been quite good for them as well, Chris Bush, hasn't he?
Vastly experienced captain for Boreham Wood as Bridge is on the ball. Bridge out towards Boys. Boys looks to deliver it first time, comes off Cox, corner Southend.
Tell you what, he's got something as well that I could never get. He's got an elegance about him as well, and the way he moves, and he just strolls about and passes it about. Real good player.
Boys with the corner in for Southend United. It's headed away and behind
Golding
for a goal kick. Yeah, it came off James Golding, the Southend United defender, last, as Southend prepare another change, which is just all zeros on the board, but it will be Josh Walker to come on. And Andy Dallas is making way for Josh Walker.
He's had no change out of the defenders all day, has he? Physically, they've been too much for him. And football-wise, they've been too much for him, unfortunately, today. And again, he hasn't had the greatest service either. It was a disappointing day for Andy Dallas.
The ball is cleared upfield from Boreham Wood as Dallas is making his way round the pitch and getting applause from the Southend United fans in Roots Hall. Hopper is fouled on the halfway line. Southend United free kick, but they are running out of time to find the 2 goals they need if they're to get anything out of this.
Let's not give it away cheaply then when you get free kicks, eh?
Just as they've done, which will allow Indy to run down this right hand side. He's looked sprightly, has the winger. Then Marley Marshall Miranda making his way forward. Well timed tackle from Josh Walker. Bridge on the charge for Southend United, brings it out to the left for Boys. Boys to Morton. Morton cross fields to Gus Scott Morris, who is in space, right hand side. Towards Keenan Appiah Forson, back to Gus Scott Morris, who's travelled a couple of yards forward, but he has got 2 defenders for company and he wins a throw.
Yeah, it's just taking too long, isn't it? You can't put your foot on it, then turn round and run to a couple of yards, then put your foot on it again and not expect to get closed down. And they'll close you down in numbers.
Tamworth have got a 4th. They're now 4-1 up against Altrincham. It's Keenan Appiah Forson controls from the throw-in, but he's tackled by Booty. He comes away with the ball for Boreham Wood. And then it comes back to him. He'll clear long, looking for the run of rush, but it was already out of play. Another throw for Southend United. We have 6.5 minutes to go. Remember the last time Boreham Wood were here the season before last, 4-2 was the scoreline for Southend, and it will but really confirm the relegation of Boreham Wood. And I think it was then Luke Garrard was announced as leaving the club, but things have been rebuilt for them as they find themselves in the National League playoff places, having been promoted once more. And Southend United's clearance over out onto the far side has resulted in a Boreham Wood throw.
Must be said, they've done all parts of the game well today, Boreham, wouldn't it? I don't know if this is what they're normally like, but defensively they've looked solid and well organised. They play out from the back. Midfield has got some goal. They've got movement and pace up front. They've got creative players out wide as Brunt gets on the ball again around the edge of the box.
Controls on the edge of the area, just took too long over it, and Southend clear away, but they can only clear away out of play as Boreham Wood prepare another change.
But like we said earlier, there's parts of the game Southend have matched them. Periods of the game where Southend have got a toehold in it, but it's just those final things. You think back on chance Sam Austin where he doesn't hit the target, and Sam Austin when it's straight at the goalkeeper. Just things like that make the difference in games.
Well, Abdul Malik, who scored the first goal in the 12th minute and controlled and created the second in the 75th, is coming off, and Joe Newton will replace him. He's a defender by trade, so we'll wait to see where he goes, but he's left-sided, so he's making his way over to that far side of the pitch as Boreham Wood have a throw. Less than 5 minutes on the clock now.
Some performance from that kid, Abdul Malik. I think he's been absolutely terrific for them. And Southend just haven't had anyone that could match him or stay with him.
Booty on a run down the left-hand side, short to Illisamny. Illisamny pulls it back. Brunt unleashes a shot edge of the area, blocked by James Golding once more for Southend United. Headed back by Cox, but Southend United tidy up in defence. Boys puts it down the left-hand side for Walker to chase. Walker tries to get in the way of O'Connell. His pass occurred, and he's done enough to put him under pressure and force the corner.
Yeah, he did well there. Lad fired it back at the goalkeeper. I thought for a minute he was going to pull it down, but his first touch let him down. But good pressure from Walker to force the error.
Corner from the left-hand side. Jack Bridge to take for Southend United. Goes long, headed down by Goodliff, and then there's a whole host of bodies in the way of the ball and the net. Cleared out as far as Bridge, left-hand side of the area. Square to Appiah Forson. Appiah Forson's going to shoot. Oh, off the woodwork! And the header back from Goodliff is straight into the hands of Curd. But Keenan Appiah Forson, well, his eyes lit up at the opportunity for a first Southend United goal, and for the second time this evening, Southend United have hit the crossbar.
Well, that was a great effort from him. Struck it really, really well. Looked for a minute like he was going to go flying over, but then just curled and dipped back in again, and gave the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Really unfortunate. It was a great strike from him.
So close to Southend United getting on the score sheet, but as it stands, they've got nothing to show for their efforts. They trail by 2-0, and we're only 2.5 minutes away from finding out how much injury time there is. As Curd plays it short to the edge of his area from Booty. Southend United still pressing as Boreham Wood clear long, headed away by Goodliff, and out for a Boreham Wood throw. Well, this is the first of a long run of Tuesday night games here at Roots Hall. Southend United with those games in hand and many of those home games to play. As Golding has marshalled rush and brings the ball out of defence for Southend. It's down the left-hand side. Neat footwork into Boys, who just runs into Marley Marshall Miranda, headed away by Goodliff. Brunt was looking for Booty, and it's out onto the left-hand side for Newton, who's on a run down the left towards Gus Scott Morris, who puts him to ground, and the referee says that'll be a free kick to Boreham Wood. Down close touch to the corner flag over on the far side, and chance for them to, well, maybe get into the box, but I suggest maybe just hold on to possession with 90 seconds left.
I was going to say, I don't think this would be going very far. Centre halves all still back on the halfway line, and Brunt goes over there. He'll probably just have it rolled to him and then keep his foot on it, unless a big space opens up for him.
Rochdale have doubled their lead at Halifax, and Brackley have pulled one back against Wealdstone, still trailing by 2-1. All the scores on the way with Tom on BBC Essex Sport until 10:30.
In fairness to him, looks like he's going to whip it into the box. No, there we go.
Newton's gone short to Booty. Back to Newton. This is all happening over on the far side, up against Appiah Forson. Brunt was over there involved in the action as well. Brunt to Newton. Back to Brunt. On loan from Barnet, the former Southend United loanee. Plays it towards Newton. Still going into the area for Ilisamni. Ilisamni square and cleared away by Boys. Southend United have got most of their outfield players back defending. They'll have a throw-in in their own half as the fourth official readies the ball to let us know how long will be added on. And that will be 4 minutes at the end of this one here at Roots Hall, which is the cue for some people in front of us to leave their seats and say they've had enough. 81333 on the text to get in touch with your thoughts on BBC Essex Sport, as Golding goes back to Mason for Southend United. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, and you need to start those messages with the word Essex for them to find their way through to us. Ball cleared upfield for Southend United towards Hopper. Hopper was shoved in the back and wins a free kick on the halfway line. Attention turns for Southend United to the FA Trophy quarter-finals on Saturday. A visit to National League Southside Horsham awaits. We'll have all the build-up and full match commentary of that one for you on Saturday. Southend 2 games from Wembley here. They are 2 goals down as the free kick is floated forward. Bush, who has been solid at the back for Boreham Wood this evening, wins the header. Morton picks it up for Southend United. Long ball forward for Walker to chase. He will do well to keep that in play, and he does so over on the right-hand side of the area. Pulls it back to a Appiah Forson, ball inside, hooked away by Booty. Walker again, creating something for Southend United. Towards Appiah Forson, still going as Southend. Now Bridge trying to put the ball into the area. The space just closing up in front of the Southend United players as Boreham Wood clear long.
As they have done all evening long, they've got light blue shirts crowded around the edge of the box and just allowed Southend no way through. Been very well organised back there.
Ball forward towards Boys, which Cox reads and drives forward for Boreham Wood. James Golding coming across to cover for Southend United. Golding towards out towards Boys. Southend United on the attack. 2 minutes of the 4 added on to play. Still Blues trail by 2-0. Bridge trying to take it to the byline. He's got 2 Boreham Wood players for company. Still going is Jack Bridge, the half-time substitute, cleared out for a Southend United throw by Cox.
You know, for a few years Boreham Wood had a reputation as just being like a big old, up and at 'em sort of side, lump it forward and chase and a bit aggressive and whatever. I think they've come on a bit, haven't they?
Golding into the area, he's looking for Walker, can't get there ahead of Ilasamni. Kurd has the ball at his feet, and we have just a minute left of the 4 added on to play. I was going to ask Paul Clark for his thoughts, but I'll save that for a minute's time, and we'll run through all the score. It probably won't change because the scoreline is still Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 2, as the ball is headed out of defence by Boreham Wood. Forward comes Ben Goodliff to win it for Blues. Now James Golding towards Walker. Now Booty lofts it forward. The flag will go up against Matt Rush here, who was already making his run as the ball was played. I want to talk about all the substitutes, Paul, but James Golding coming into that defence, what have you made of him?
Effective when he came on. He's done good defensive work, and he's shown that he's got, or what he showed before, he's got a threat going forward as well.
Launching it long is Owen Mason. Hopper can't win it, and it's out of play for a Southend throw. We've only got 10 seconds of the 4 minutes added on left, so this really is last chance saloon for Southend United, and really if they are able to get anything, it would just be a consolation. And again, the wait for a win over a side sitting in the National League playoff places goes on for Kevin Mayer and his side. They've been beaten by 2-0 at Roots Hall as the full-time whistle goes. Boreham Wood, who have been good on their travels, will take away all 3 points this evening thanks to a 12th minute goal from Abdul Malik, and then an improved Southend United performance in the second half, but it was a 75th minute that the visitors were able to double their lead. The ball pulled back for former Southend United striker Matt Rush to double the lead and make the scoreline Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 2. Southend United put up a valiant fight here at Roots Hall. They had opportunities themselves. They hit the crossbar twice, once early on with just 5 minutes played, and then in the later stages with Keenan Appiah Forson's effort from the edge of the area. They've huffed and they've puffed, but they haven't been able to blow the house down or blow Boreham Wood away tonight, Paul Clark.
Yeah, well, again, they've created chances, but we can't, week after week against these top sides, we can't keep coming back and saying, oh, on another day, we create these many chances, on another day we'd have buried them, this and that. We're not doing it. We're falling short. And Southend did have chances today. You've got Dallas one in the first half where he smashed it against the crossbar. You've had the one where Kendall goes through with the keeper to beat. You've had another one, Sam Austin doesn't hit the target from 15 yards inside the penalty area. Another one straight at the goalkeeper. So the chances there, and it comes down to what I said earlier. It's about the individuals putting those finishing touches on it. Now, Boreham Wood did that. The number of chances they created, sooner or later people were going to get on the end of them, and they had enough quality to finish them. Southend at the moment are doing well up until inside the penalty area. And that, as I said earlier, comes down to individuals, and we can't keep saying, oh, on another day we could do this. Can't keep saying, oh, it's the referee's fault because he put Cav Miley in the first 15 minutes and he gave them everything, because we keep saying that every week. These players are good enough. They are creating enough chances. They've now got to take individual responsibility and say, right, when I get into those positions, I am going to score. And when they do that, then that's when they'll get a chance of beating these sides, because they can play. There's no doubt about that. Boreham Wood, for me, I mean, you don't like to hold them up and say that's what you should do, but what we spoke about earlier about the variation in their play, they played it out the back, but they played it forward as well, and yet they had passes in midfield like Brunt getting on the ball. They had great variation in their play today. Don't see them every week, so we can't say they'd like that every week. But even against that, Southend still created chances. But creating chances ain't enough. You've got to take chances.
What about the changes? Southend United, they made the double substitution at half time. They then switched things again at the back to try and change it up once more. What did you think of that?
I thought they were positive changes. When he went for at the back, I thought, okay, yeah, I can see that, because the two wide men, Richardson and Abdul Malik, were causing all sorts of problems, because they'd obviously said to Abdul Malik particularly, said, I'll tell you what, just stay up on the left wing, because Gus Scott Morris wants to go bombing forward. You can have a little cheat out there and you're out ball all day long, and they did it particularly well. So Southend had to change to kind of combat that, and they made that change. But as I said during commentary, if you do that with Gus Scott Morris, you're improving the defence slightly, but you're taking a hell of a lot away from your forward threat. So, which is why I think Kevin had a look at it. And again, I'm not too sure about Taylor and Goodliff as your two central centre halves. Look, some big spaces in there for Zach Brunt, for example, to slide those little balls through. And when he changed it and put Golding on there on that left-hand side, impressed with Golding. Intercepted an awful lot of things, looks good on the ball, and will go and cause problems in the opposition half as well. So that was a positive change for me. But as I say, you take away all the positives, and that's great, but you've got to look at the negatives, and the negatives are we do not convert enough of our chances that we work so hard to create.
Paul Clark, thank you very much. More thoughts to come from Paul with Tom Larson Wright on BBC Essex Sport between now and 10:30. You can have your say, 81333 on the text, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with the word Essex. All of the scores from elsewhere to come. I can tell you that Halifax have equalised late on against Rochdale, so that makes things look very interesting in the National League table. Confirmation of all of that to come on BBC Essex Sport. Here at Roots Hall, Southend United have been beaten by 2-0 against Boreham Wood.
Secret Essex on BBC Sounds.
There's some nasty patches of clay that you end up sinking up to your knees in, and you can get stuck and be exhausted very, very quickly.
They pulled the train up 600 yards from the wreck and really sort of changed the course of history.
Secret Essex on BBC Sounds.
When the iceberg struck, he went down right to the bowels of the ship and stayed with the third class and some second class passengers, and initially led them to the lifeboats.
The notorious feature about this door is that it had some skin attached to it.
Search Secret Essex on BBC Sounds and click subscribe.
BBC Essex Sport.
17 minutes to 10 on BBC Essex Sport. Tom Larson Wright with you for around about 45 minutes of results and reaction. Our focus, of course, Southend United falling to a 2-0 defeat to playoff rivals Boreham Wood. A goal in either half, the away side enough for them to take all 3 points back home. Southend hitting the crossbar right at the start and right at the end of the game. Blues fans, do get in touch. Love to hear from you. What do you make of this evening's game? To text us, as you heard from Victoria, text us 81333. Start your text with the word Essex. It's the same on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number, just add us into your contacts, 08000 321 333. And again, make sure you start your message with the word Essex in full, otherwise it won't make its way to us. And don't forget to put your name on the end as well. I'd like to hear what you made of this evening's evening's game. Blues again failing to beat a top 6 National League side. That's the 9th game they've had against a team from the top 6 of the National League. And again, they've failed to win, just the 3 draws, and otherwise they have lost the rest of the games. 3 more times they'll play the teams above them in division. Carlisle away, Forest Green at home, and Rochdale at home. Are they going to stand a chance in the playoffs if they can't beat one of these teams above them? What did you make of tonight's game? Do you agree with Paul Clark that they're just not... It falls on the players to make the right decisions at the right moment. They had chances tonight, as I said. Andy Dallas hitting the crossbar just 5 minutes into the game from that Harry Boys free kick. Charlie Kendall, a one-on-one shot saved as we approached half-time. Then in the last moments of the game, 88 minutes in fact, Keenan Appiah-Forson just dropping away from his players around him and striking an effort from outside the box and hitting the crossbar. Love to hear your thoughts on the programme this evening. The time 10:15 on BBC Essex Sport. Let's run you through the scores elsewhere, then starting with the other games in the National League. You heard Victoria mention still goals going in late on. I think we're almost at full time across the league. So you already know about Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 2. Elsewhere, Forest Green Rovers 2, Boston United 3. So Forest Green, who were trailing by 3-0 in that one, brought it back but couldn't salvage a draw. So Forest Green 2, Boston United 3. So that's at least a positive result for Blues in terms of one of the teams above them dropping points. Elsewhere, Halifax Town 2, Rochdale 2. That sounds like quite the exciting end to the game. Rochdale were leading for much of that game. Devontae Rodney scoring just 15 minutes in. Then Rochdale went 2 up and Halifax Town came back. 2 goals in the last moments of that one to salvage a draw for the home side. That was, of course, 8th against first. So Halifax picking up a point against top of the league, Rochdale. Scunthorpe United 0, York City 3. So good away win for York as they try to chase down Rochdale at the top of the table. Tamworth 5, Altrincham 1. Altrincham did have 2 players sent off going into the final 30 minutes of the game. And Wealdstone 2, Brackley Town 1. So that's all the full times from the National League tonight. There's 6 other games tomorrow, including Braintree Town hosting Aldershot Town. Excuse me. In the Champions League, these are 8 o'clock kickoffs, so they're just heading into stoppage time. Bayer Leverkusen 0, Olympiacos 0, but Leverkusen lead 2-0 on aggregate. Inter Milan 1, Bodo Glimt 2. So Bodo Glimt lead 5-2 on aggregate going into stoppage time in that one. And Newcastle United 3, Qarabag 2. That's into the 92nd minute, and Newcastle lead 9-3 on aggregate in that game. Excuse me again. In the Scottish Premiership, it's finished Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0. And then into the Championship tonight, Blackburn Rovers 1, Bristol City 2, Hull City 4, Derby County 2. A goal for Derby that doesn't count for much for Sammy Smodics, a former Hughes player. Middlesbrough 1, Leicester City 1, Swansea City 1, Preston 1, a 95th minute equaliser for the Swans. Watford 0, Ipswich 2. West Brom 1, Charlton 1, Wrexham 2, Portsmouth 1. So Wrexham continue their impressive form for a promotion push for the new Championship boys. And then Southampton 5, QPR 0. So could the Saints make a late push for the playoff places after a difficult first half of the season? That's all the goals that have gone in so far in the Championship. That Southampton QPR game, although it is 5-0, so pretty much done and dusted, was an 8 o'clock kickoff, so they're just heading into stoppage time in that one.